Hello and welcome to Rate That Character, a series where a member of the Source Gaming team gives their opinion on a character's chances at being playable in Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. We lay out the pros and cons for each character and give a final score out of 100. Please do remember that these are our own individual opinions and do not reflect Sakurai, Nintendo, or even the thoughts of Source Gaming as a whole. With that out of the way, I'm the MangoViking, and let's see who today's character is. Each new generation sports a host of new Pokemon. It can range anywhere from 70 to 100 or more creatures, so choosing one is not an easy task. Starter Pokemon seem like the most accessible monsters to choose, but does this owl from the afterlife have a shot at redemption, or is his chance as lost as his soul? Let's find out. We'll start with cons first, as it's easier to construct the arguments. As much as people like to believe starter Pokemon have a greater chance of appearing in Smash, that's not necessarily the case. Only 4 out of 9 Pokemon, basically half, are starters, whereas the others, except for maybe Pichu, were chosen based on their importance to the anime and movies. This leaves the door open for other key Pokemon such as Mimikyu, Lycanroc, and even Ash's second starter Litten, which has evolved unlike Rowlet, at least at this point in time. Outside of the show, Decidueye has appeared in Pokken Tournament DX. This is a pro as a sign of his popularity, but it can also be a con. Out of all the Pokemon in Smash 4, Greninja and Jigglypuff are the only two that didn't make it into Pokken. Jigglypuff hasn't been relevant for a decade, and there's other options for the joke fighter, so that's understandable. But Greninja was still relevant for the original release. Perhaps the Pokemon Company wanted to separate themselves from Smash, which had Greninja playable only a year prior. But now, the shoe's on the other foot. Decidueye is playable in Pokken a year before Smash. Sakurai might feel the same and consider other options to avoid feeling redundant. Starter Pokemon may not be guaranteed a spot, but you can guarantee they will be popular and recognizable, making them the safest choices for a Pokemon rep. As far as other candidates go, the games and new anime wouldn't release until months after development began. By the time he started, Sun and Moon was announced and he likely had all the Pokemon available to him. There wouldn't have been a benefit in waiting. Meanwhile with Greninja, Pokemon X and Y was still a year and a half away, so the wait was justified. There also weren't any Pokemon headlining moves that could really work in Smash, or better than a Pokeball Pokemon, and no one really cares about Volcanion. Besides the timing, Decidueye holds a number of benefits. He's still Ash's first Alolan Pokemon, a Grass type which fills the void Ivysaur left, and a Ghost type which has never been playable in Smash at all. The other starters, Incineroar and Primarina, already have their types represented. Charizard is Fire, Greninja is both Water and Dark, and Jigglypuff is Fairy, although she doesn't really have any Fairy moves. While Sakurai might feel his inclusion is redundant after Pokken, those types aren't currently represented and would still feel new for those who haven't played Pokken. He also has his own exclusive Z move, which would represent the new battle mechanic for that generation. Mimikyu does as well, but that was an Ultra Sun and Moon which came too late. One small addition, if we are getting Pokemon Yellow remakes this year, then you can safely discount a Gen 8 Pokemon. If anything, a return to Gen 1 would only raise Squirtle and Ivysaur's chances to return. Not only is Decidueye popular and recognizable, as evidenced by his inclusion in Pokken, but Grass and Ghost types are either no longer in Smash or haven't even been featured in it. The only other strong contenders that could overthrow him couldn't have established themselves more important by the time development started. With that said, let's see the final score. Before we go, thanks to our patrons for supporting us, in particular our super patron, the Duke of Dorks. You'll find a link to his channel in the description. Thank you for watching today's Rate That Character. If you enjoyed it, give this video a like and show it to your friends. Let us know your thoughts on today's character and suggest any future ones for the series. Subscribe to keep up with our content, and remember to return to the source.